Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, finally, I'm going to do my top 10 favorite anime. I pretty much steered clear from this before it because my list was just constantly changing. I was like, I don't want to make a video, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's now just not accurate given like a month or two. Well, I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. My top 10 changes a good bit. The higher up spots usually stay pretty consistent, but I can't even guarantee that. You know, I'm a new watcher. I've only been watching for a short bit, I guess. 2 years. It's reasonable that I'm changed. I haven't watched 10 million shows, and then it's like, yeah, like, what is one little show probably going to make a dent in, like, the whole categorizing I've done beforehand. No, it's just always going to be changing. I just need to accept that. And I've accepted that. This video may be outdated tomorrow. Whatever you see this could be outdated. I just wanted to do this because I'm finally over it. Let's have it, the top 10 that you've all been waiting for that defines every anti-tuber. So, my number 10 is going to be Pompo the Sin File. Now, this is probably like one of my most elitist choices, and most people won't know about this one. It isn't a commonlyest thing. It isn't like I just said galactic heroes or something. I'm not that bad of like elitist guy. Now, so this is a movie that has released recently, as of 2021, and it's about making movies. It's set in Nollywood, so it's literally Hollywood, and there's a bit of a runtish guy, a little bit of a scrappy individual, and has a mentor, Pompo, and she's like, all right, you're directing this like high-ass budget film that's like got the super fucking best cast possible, and it's just like, oh, well, that's a lot of stress. The reason, you know, I like it so much, besides like it is just like a very, very clean movie, you know, for not like a studio that everyone knows the name of. I think it's a bit of like I don't know the studio name for it, but like it looks very clean. It has some very interesting things, like they reverse through time, and they do that in a very clever way. They have a lot of interesting shots. It's done by someone who likes movies, and it's good because it's about making movies. So the person is very much showing that, like, they know stuff. They know how to be creative and have a fucking fun time with a lot of their shots. And it has a lot of focus on actually editing, because this movie, it's like, nope, the director has to edit the entire thing, edit the entire cut. And, well, I personally really think that's cool. You know why? Because, well, I edit content on YouTube. Like, look at that. But also, I'm literally going for school to learn editing. So, yeah, personal bias just boom, right? So much of it. It's a very interesting film. It's very short. It's only 90 minutes. And that's made as a joke, and it's really nice that they kept it exactly 90 minutes as well. That was pretty cheeky. It's a very cheeky of a movie as well, you know, but it is also very serious at the same time. It says a lot about creating something, what it means to create, what it means to make a narrative, and it's very, very smooth. My number 9, Your Lie in April. Now that's a like pretty basic, like, oh yeah, okay, cool, you like crying, good job. And you're going to see a theme. I like crying. That's just not a joke. No, I like crying. But it's not like the ending. You know, everyone gasses up the ending, like the ending is so sad. Greatest anime endings ever. No, it's weak. It's weak. Okay, it's actually pretty good, but it's weak compared to the rest of the show. Alright? This show is phenomenal. There's a reason it is in my top 10. I think every moment of it can be really sad. I was crying my eyes out consistently throughout the entire run of it. most performances moved me in some way. A lot of this story, you know, there is very well set up conflicts. Like, I don't care about the final ending as much, this girl, whatever. I really care about our main guy's struggles with his mom. That shit is so compelling. Every other character, those big ones that are competing, they have their own reasons, and you feel moved when they are doing their performances. And they hold on these performances for a long time. They really make you feel like you are there. I feel a lot of things kind of just like cut short, and they just don't feel as real because of it. But the pacing is absolutely perfect for you to become immersed and feel like you are there watching through their struggles. You are a part of it. It is fucking phenomenal. I love this show for pretty much everything it does. And my number 8, Madoka Magica. This is just a very, very flawless, just a nice, extremely clean narrative that, compared to a lot of my other shows, which may have a bit of animation struggles, you know, under some form of budget, having some restriction, this doesn't have such restriction. They kind of really just got to go off, and everything they use to immerse yourself into this series to set up all the elements is just done perfectly. You know, one of the best scores ever. Like, amazing when it comes to scores. I do like one score that it's in my favorite more, but, you know, whatever. Like, this is very good. You know, animation, top notch, really puts you in, really gets you into the world. And its storytelling is just clean as hell. It is a very well done story. Every character, you know, has their own conflict going on, and you really get to see it throughout the show. And you may not get all of them the first time, and you may have some waiting, but all of them are very well done individuals in their own way. Even the characters who died very quickly, not trying to spoil shit, but like, one character dies pretty quickly, but there is a lot of development to that character where you really get to know about this character, and they're still able to develop this character even later through the show when they are not even present anymore. This is very clear with writing, and it's very easy to rewatch, because compared to a lot of other things, I have to just sit down and be like, well, I'm going to cry my eyes out to this. Madoka Magica, I don't really cry my eyes out to as much. It's not just like a sad thing. It is, you know, depressing, but it's very good for being a somewhat optimistic narrative. I also really do like the sequel movie as well, though that has, I think, a few issues with his messaging. It doesn't feel as complete, and it feels like you are hitting on the climax of the hill, but you haven't resolved the issue, which luckily, the fourth movie, I think that one's going to really, you know, fix it up, make it so it's just the climax, and then it gives that resolution, because I think that's what it needs. Right now it's in a more nihilistic point, which kind of separates from some of the storytelling within the TV show. But with certain interpretations, there has been like the optimistic side to the sequel movie, which I can really like. There's a lot of things to interpret. It is very deep and rich, and a lot of people will go into it much more than me, and I'm very unelaborate with a lot of my explanations for things, so I'm not even going to try it here. Someone can do better than me. Absolutely clap me, alright? So I'm not even going to try, but it is really, really goddamn good. Love it. And I have 2 figures, not even just the Akame Homura. I also have Madoka. That's over there. My number 7, Love Shinibyo and Other Delusion. Now, this one is interesting, as I think not as a lot of people do give certain respects that I think this show really deserves. Its storytelling and its message overall, it's split between what you're watching. It resolves the message that it has within the first season. The first season has its own message, and it gets resolved at the very end. And it's talking about the form of escapism in which is happening. And past that, it doesn't go more into that escapism element as it did in the first season. And a lot of people get thrown off as like, oh, you're not continuing the message. No, it's a completed message, I think. storytelling wise, it's completed message and going on to say something else profound. I think season 1, season 2, and the movie all have something different to say overall, but it's all put together in a narrative. And all of them are very good. I'm currently rewatching Love Shinobu. I just rewatched the first season fully, and like that one going on the escapism really good. And I really like rewatching the movie because the movie is just so fucking fun. It's a very fun movie. I still do cry at it a lot. Very ending scene. You know, I'm all sappy, just like, you know, absolute baby at that. It's just a very fun journey they get to go through, just adventuring through the thing. And I think it really does peak in the comedy as you really get to know these characters. They're all playing the roles in which they've developed themselves into. It is amazing. The movie is absolutely amazing. And the rest of the show I'm watching through again, and it's still fucking hitting like I fucking expected to. It's amazing. I love it. But going on to number 6, Kaguya-sama Loves War. As you may know, I do like have the manga. It's right there. I got the manga for it. I'm a manga reader on this one. And it's my favorite manga. Out of the manga I've read, it is my favorite one. The anime, it gets lower down because I've consumed more manga compared to... Not manga. I've consumed more anime compared to manga. That being said, Kaguya-sama isn't fully fleshed out anime-wise. You get really strong stuff getting developed by the second season. Of course, everyone strongly, it's just like, goddamn, the Yui Shigami episode, season 2, episode 11, that shit hit. And you're right, that shit absolutely hit. I do suggest you rewatch with the stuff you get from season 3, which season 3 is coming out right now as a recording, so you get really good stuff at the end of that one, trust me. Go back and rewatch the student council war part of voting with, you know, that shit also very, very good on a rewatch. You won't notice it the first time around, but that shit hits on the rewatch. So I do suggest that. It has very strong moments that will build up and build up and build up as we go along and get more of the content here. And that's something that maybe it goes above and beyond. Besides that, it is just a really exceptional comedy. I often just don't find comedies very funny. There's so many that are just like not my style. Like the American styles of comedies, the Western, I guess, not Japanese. Like the crude adult comedies, I hate those with a passion. They are terrible. Nothing about them are funny. So it's hard to get the comedy award, but this one gets the stamp of approval. There's very few that can do that, but this one absolutely gets it. High marks. This is funny as shit. And then beyond that, it has, you know, profound stories to it, and the events that go on absolutely fucking crazy as it goes on. And that's what, you know, picks it up that extra notch to really get it into my top 10 instead of just being like, Number 5 is Makia When the Promised Flowers Bloom. Now this is a movie, came out in 2018, PA Works did it. And this story pretty much is a story progressing through a whole person's life. There is a group of people who pretty much don't like age compared to everyone else. They pretty much just stay consistent. We have our main character ends up taking in this child as a baby and raising him fully to adulthood. I have to avoid spoilers on this one. I really do suggest you watch it. Everything I say, it's good. So, at least in my opinion, it's good. So I would love it if you did watch it and be like, then we can possibly share and be like, yeah, that's really good. But Makia, it very much follows the mortality of, and asks the thing of like, would you want to have attachment, you know, go through love when you know that it is something that is minuscule. It's just goes away. It's fleeting, especially when it's like your life extremely long. This little thing that you have here, this love and attachment, you'll feel super strong about it, and it's just going to go away like that. Do you want to do that? And it just asks like the simple questions of love and mortality, which, you know, can be very classic for the stuff to make you cry. And, you know, sometimes they do terribly with those messages, but I think this is a very strong one. And they have that one last line at the very end. Just, oh, the writing, oh, so good. So good, that last line. Ooh. My number 4, another thing that hits hard and is, I would say, pretty similar. Plastic Memories. Now, Plastic Memories is pretty much like a kind of inverse of it, because instead of girl having long life, now girl have short life. She die quick. This is a rom-com where it has an interesting world of cyborgs, and our main girl is a cyborg, and she's going to have to, I guess, get recycled. There's a system where these cyborgs, they have manufacturing errors around a bit below 10-ish years of production, where it's like things will go to shit, so we kind of like have to like shut them down, reset, turn off, take out the motherboard. So it's just like humans that live 10 years. And of course, 10 years, you can get attached to someone in 10 years. That is a very possible thing that can happen, and that's pretty much what it does. Person gets very attached, and then it just rips it away. Rips it away. It is extremely sad. Those moments that are trying to hit you, they are the strongest hits ever. Nothing hits harder than this show. The ending of this show, number 1, biggest hit to the feels. Truck-kun, no, it is a fucking nuclear bomb to your feels, this final episode. This final episode clears everything. It does have like a bit of like things that it has to worry about. Sometimes its comedy element doesn't land, but I think the comedy element also really does help. It can give a little bit of just, you know, niceness, a little bit of chill when it's very depressing and it's making you think about mortality. And I think it just has a really good message of, you know, it being worth it to love. That's something that I really like. Of course, Magica does the same thing. So I kind of just like the same shit. Plastic Memories, I just like a little bit more. I like a little bit more. I'm sorry, but it hits me a little bit more emotionally, and it is a amazing romance. You absolutely love them as a couple. It feels absolutely natural. They're so cute together. They are fucking great. So you absolutely get immersed, and you're like, damn, like this. They feel real. They feel like the like, you know, just not together, all cutesy. Like, man, I'm so nervous around this person, but you know, I know they'll love them. It's great on that. It absolutely immerses you on that level. It's amazing. Rewatch it as well. Flawless show. But there's things I like more. Number 3, Violet Evergarden. This one was my favorite. Like, it stayed as my favorite for a good while. It secured the spot and held it there. But it did get kicked off at some point. And I avoided talking about this show much on my channel because I'm like, I'm simply going to besmirch the show because nothing I say will quantify how fucking good Violet Evergarden is. And that still stands true. I don't think I can really say anything that can give equivocal reason why. Again, it's something that is sad like all the others, and it often does tackle, you know, mortality and life itself. You know, simple concepts of the mortality and love, you know, that it seems like everything I have has some element of. And I do think, you know, it's what do I even say? I don't even say anything. Violet Evergarden. It speaks for itself. Just go fucking watch it. And if you think it ain't that good, fuck you. No, you're probably a fine individual. You're watching this far in the video. I love you, but what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? That shit is so good. So good. And I think it's so good that I can't even say anything about it when that's literally my task to do. But that's it. All right. Number 2. Yeah, there's more past that. But these ones I feel I could, speak on a little more. Maybe because I get pressed more because they're a little bit higher up. Yuki Una is a hero. It's my number 2. Now, Yuki Una is a hero. This wasn't as high up as it was before. When I first completed watching it, first I didn't really go into the second season super quickly. I watched the first season, like, damn, this is really good. And 9 out of 10. Very good show. And that was about it. I was like, yeah, the ending still pretty good. A lot of people have problems with the ending, and it was like, but if you dive in deep, this show, absolutely impressive. It's a very good show, and it doesn't ask you too much to pay attention to it. That's the first thing. Yuki Una doesn't ask you to pay too much attention to what's really happening under the scope for a good bit. If you want to watch it and you don't want to think too much about it, you can do that and very much enjoy this. But once you start thinking about it, there's a lot more to grab. It is that one show that I digged into, and I'm like, damn, there is so much more than what meets the eye to this goddamn show. There is so much to its world, and it has much more side content as well that will help, build up certain points. Or, I guess it should be content you should consume, but, if you're anime only, it's have fun trying to find the Nogi Wakabe fucking novels. Have fun. There is a lot of things that are, hidden in its lore, and it has a lot going on to it that you just won't get at the start, and they won't really tell you for a good while, and they'll just kind of, throw certain things at you. It's huh? What? I don't know what that is, whatever. And it's still a very enjoyable experience. But once you dig in, it's really good. It's second season, it just names the fire offering. And you're like, okay, fire offering, sure. What? I don't know what that is. Cool, go on. And you kind of just don't think about it too much. But then it's going back to a lot of its lore with the ancestral stuff. And if you watch season 3 is a mess. But it gives you a bit of the things, which the side content that you probably should consume to really understand everything, gives you a bit of that, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck's actually happening? And there's so much happening with Yuki Una as a hero. It is a series where I can really go off on its lore for a long while, because it really developed a lot to do with it, and I think it's very subversive in everything that it does, it isn't like Madoka where it gives you a ending where it's optimistic, but there's that little bit of bit of it sitting there at the end where you're like, is this really what was necessary? It has a bit of gloominess still reminiscent towards the end of it, and Yuki Una just seems yeah, it's optimistic at the end. It just seems more bam, everything's good in the end, yeah. And then it's the more secret part is that it actually isn't. And I think it's very impressive. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but if you want to get into it, there's so much to it. It gives you some pretty optimistic endings. It's yeah, everything will go well. And it's things won't go well. The end of the series, they kill God, and it's well, God was oppressing us. Woo! And it's the world's got banking on God, bro. You fucking just murked him. You went Saddam style with one punch fucking God. And he was giving all of your agricultural resources It's like, oh, you may fuck up the entire economy and it may go to absolute shit now because God is not supporting it. It really has a lot of in-depth lore to it, and it's more cryptic once you get into it and dive into it a little bit. It isn't as just simple as, yeah, it's a happy ending. But I think it is very optimistic and says something very profound, as the people who were treated the cruelest, a whole line of people who were the most innocent people, tortured for years upon years, and still they make the choice that those oppressors, humanity in which has done this to them, they still deserve to live. There is still goodness in them, and they're currently just flawed. And there can be things done, and we should look beautifully at the world itself. I think this is a series that very strongly gives that the world is beautiful. I don't think things are very good at giving something so broad and so well-rounded and doing it as well as this series. It gives faith towards humanity, and when we look at the world so dark and when it's like on the news there's all this tragic shit, I think it's good to have a story that does that. I think Yuki Una, probably one of the best written things ever. It's really good. That's my number 2. And my number 1, do we even have to say it? You guys know what it is. I can end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. No, okay. I'll say it. Umusume Pretty Derby. Now, of course, I especially like the second season more. And, you know, it's always like a gag. I just make a joke like, I like the Horse Girl show. You know, it is best show, ha ha ha. So funny, you know. But no, I'm very serious when I'm like, this show is amazing. It is something that actually did something for me in my life. I've made changes to my life because of this show. And I've made my life actually happier because this show existed. Without this show, I may not be the person who I am right now. And no, it's not because it's like, yeah, the person where I am right now is retweeting Horse Girl fan art every single day. No, it's not something stupid like that. But this is a show that truly made me reflect upon the actions I've taken in my life and more look at myself as an individual who has things I enjoy, has goals, dreams in a way. And, you know, Umusume may seem like the stereotypical, still like kind of happy, cheery vibe of the, you know, follow your dreams stuff that I really see in a lot of, like, you know, children's content. That, yeah, follow your dreams. But adults need that too. I think a lot of people get focused on this edgy stuff and can really get into like nihilistic territory where it's like, it's not good for you. I don't think all this like very nihilistic stuff is going to be very good. You're just going to have some jaded outlook of the world. It's like, yeah, shit, just go with the flow, go with life. Don't do that, you know. Life is a dick. This show's like, yeah, life, absolute dick bag. Random occurrences will absolutely fuck you up and you will hate life. It's cruel and it's unfair. There's no reason, there's no reasoning why it's done this. But it just happens, and you're just going to have to go through some shitty things. And you're going to have to go through some shit. You're going to have to step through the shit pile. Hopefully, you should work to follow what you want to do. Do what you'd want to do, because that's how you'll be a more happier individual. I think them showing a person giving up in such a realistic way, showing our main character be like depressed but still able to be happy, because I think that was a bit reflective of me. You know, I was still able to just like go with friends, you know, enjoy stuff, talk with them, be like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, whatever. right? I was able to, seem like a happy, normal person, but on the inside, if I looked at my future, it just looked bleak. And that was the same thing, told within episode 10 of season 2, Tokaite, after she resigns. And like, that shit got to me. It made me think about my life. And I made significant changes in my life because of it. And I'm a much happier person. I'm a much happier person because of that. And this show did that for me. Like, I don't like going too deep on things. Of course, I'm not trying to keep this, like, super personal. Not telling you exactly what happened. But, it's like a funny joke of, like, the haha, I like this show. But it did actually make me reflect on my life compared to anything else I watched. Nothing else did it besides this one. This one was the thing that made me really think about things. People really, gas up certain shows that do that. And they expect it's like, yeah, it really makes you think. Like, Ava didn't do it for me. Ava didn't do shit for me. This is the show that did shit for me. And this is number 1. I do think the writing is very clean, and I've made videos just, like, explaining certain things. Like, I think the Twin Turbo video, you can very much watch it without the knowing anything about Umusume. It's 9 minutes, nice and short, kept it as brief as possible, and I explain a lot of the cleanness to its writing. I had one video that got taken down that was on Rice Shower. That one, very clean as well, and talked about some real-life implications to what it did. I think its writing also very clean. I would give the step up to Yuki Una with a bit of its cleanness in its writing. But Umusume is also very strong, and you can absolutely be impressed by the things they do because they're working off of real life. They're using real life as a model, but they're able to say a lot of profound things off of using real life, and it helps the narrative of the show. Because you're like, oh yeah, this is some bullshit fiction thing. But then it actually fucking happened. So it's like, is this actually bullshit at the end of the day? This is based off real life. This actually happened. It's just they add words to it. They add a dialogue to the events that have already happened in life to say something profound. And they have said something profound that has changed me. So, Umusume is my number 1. It's probably going to be hard to ever change that one. That may just go down in history as my favorite anime. And I'm going to stick by it. No matter how many jokes are cast at me for it. How many times just like, oh yeah, he likes the horse girl show. It's good. It's good. And all the shows, movies I talked about, they're good. Hope you guys end up, maybe I said something interesting. You go watch one of them and you're like, damn, this is good. Or maybe you watch them and it's like, yeah, this didn't do shit for me. If you guys do go and watch any of them, please tell me in the comments and be like, oh yeah, it's good. Oh yeah, it's bad. Oh yeah, your opinion's trash. Oh yeah, you like horse girls. You're trash, you piece of shit. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I'll come back to be doing more content. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.